know I love the variety on this show. We've talked about decks, we've talked about traveling to Japan and everything in between. And now we're going to talk a little poetry, some festivals coming up we wanted to talk to you about. And JustJamaal ThePoet is here in studio.
Jeez.
And we're wearing our pink. You got the memo.
I saw that we're matching.
You got the memo.
I did,
That's fantastic. So we've got some festivals coming up. Talk to me about the first festival you want to sort of shine light on today.
The first festival is this Friday, March 31st at Viscount Alexander Public School. And this is a festival put on by MASC, which is Multicultural Arts in Schools and Communities. And they've been putting this festival on for 14 years. I've had the opportunity to host many of them. I'll be hosting that festival. So the idea with this festival is professional artists from Ottawa. They work with different communities. In this case, they're working with the Sandy Hill community, and they're working with the Lower Town community. Professional artists will do workshops with youth in these communities, and then they'll present them at this festival. And usually it's about 3 to 5 months of working with youth to put on performances and to put on presentations for this festival.
And what grades are we talking about?
They go from like grade 1, well, probably grade 3 up to high school, all the way to the end of high school, yeah.
And this would be an opportunity maybe kids wouldn't have had in their normal everyday school, right?
Yeah, most of the times this festival, it's focusing on underserved communities where arts and the engagement in the arts is lacking. And so we've had great success in some of the areas in the downtown core. And so, yeah, bringing those youth to art and then seeing what they can do and putting it on to a live audience is something that they look forward to.
So that's happening this Friday. You've got a second festival.
Yes.
Are you part of that one as well?
I am, yes.
You're everywhere.
Well, you know, I'm trying not to be these days, but
So tell me about this one.
This one is called the MASC Young Authors and Illustrators Festival. And this one invites creatives that are aspiring to be writers or illustrators from across Ottawa to engage with professional writers. And these professional writers and illustrators, when you read their bios, they blow my mind. Like, they've won Governor General Awards, toured, big names for Canadian writers. And usually they're children writers or teen writers. And they get to work together for a day, exchanging ideas, tips on how to bring your work to life and finish and get your work published. So I'll be hosting that as well too. And we have writers such as Catherine Austin, we have Keen Sue, we have Soo-Yun Kim. These are, like, when you look at their bios, they're doing well as professional artists. So yeah.
And it can be such an outlet, the arts, for teens, especially. I think about the pandemic, and I know so many teens did turn, to, well, now I'm going to start to write, or now I'll do something in terms of the arts. But to get that creativity flowing again for maybe people that haven't been connected.
Yes, and one thing we find too is the youth are losing their engagement with the arts too. They love the arts, but going towards it as a practice, it's not necessarily being encouraged so much, especially because there's other ways that art's just being presented to them, right? And so this is a good way to find that kind of personal connection with your creativity again. Yeah.
Because it's vulnerable, right?
Very vulnerable, yes. But we want that with youth. Bring that out, right? Naturally, right? They're kind of vulnerable, fragile, right? And so when you allow them to have that space, then they're creating art that reflects who they are and their true identities. So
let's talk a little bit about you. I know you'd rather talk about the festivals all day, but I'm really fascinated with the JustJamaal ThePoet. So where does that come from?
That's a great question. It was right before I started my right after I started my professional career. I was running an after-school program, and I was looking after some young people, and one of the mothers invited me to her home. She was going to travel to India to teach, and she invited me to her home as just a going away and saying thank you for watching her kids. And she said, I heard you do poetry, you perform and such. I said, yeah, it's something I'm trying to build momentum on. And she said, so what's your stage name? What's your artist name? I said, I don't have an artist name, it's JustJamaal. And she's like, that's it. It's JustJamaal ThePoet. And that was it.
I love it. Can I put you on the spot?
Sure, what's up?
So when I meet a poet, I always think, like, where does it come from? Where does the inspiration? So if I was to give you, let's say, a word, could you do something with that word?
You could try.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So the word today, inspire.
Okay. My desires inspire fire, sparking. You can see it, almost smell it like a burnt tire. I wear it like a wire, you can hear me from afar. I write these words down, and then I go forth with full force like a car. You see, JustJamaal ThePoet didn't come here to joke, but every time I come outside, everybody wants to poke, find where I am, say, you've been around. I said, nah, I'm trying to hide. So JustJamaal ThePoet's just trying to write these rhymes So let's keep on going, inspire the crowd to let them know how higher we can go. But that's just a little bit of flow for you today, Sue, on Daytime Ottawa. Let's go.
Oh, you made my day. That was so fun. That was awesome. I loved it. And when you think about, you know, you're doing that with me live here on Daytime, but when you've got a quiet moment to yourself, how is that process? Is it the same?
No, it's not the same. The process is a lot of contemplation and reflection. I often get my ideas from what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and then I'll ask myself, how do I want to put this together? Is it in a rap rhythmic form, or is it in more page poetry, spoken word form? And after that, I just free write. It's a lot of journaling, and then finding the gems, and then working from there. So I usually write, like, my writing is more motivational and inspiring. So that was a kind of an easy word, but I appreciate it.
That's awesome. We only have about a minute left, but listen, there's lots going on in the world.
There is, yeah.
Does that come out in your poetry?
In my world, yes. So I mean, like, I always thought to myself, I would be a writer that would reflect everything that's going on in the world, but that's a hard weight to carry. There's a lot of introspection that I need to work through, and so a lot of my work comes from a very personal scope. Like, I write about my children, I write about being a full-time artist and what that's like, and carrying a little bit of a torch or a flame for creatives that want to stay in Ottawa. And so the pursuit is what I write about, the pursuit of life and how it looks to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. We only have a couple of seconds, but tell us how we can learn about these two festivals.
So if you go online, look up MASC, go to the MASC website, you'll find all about their festivals going on. The Young Authors and Illustrators Festival is on April 4th. It's a private festival, meaning it's a registered festival, but you can register next year, and the kids can jump on to registering all across Ottawa. So if you're a parent who has children who love to illustrate or love to write, look out for the MASC Young Authors and Illustrators Festival next year.
Fantastic. I feel like I need to be inspired and put pen to paper, and I should do that. JustJamaal ThePoet, thank you so much for spending time with us today. What a wonderful opportunity to learn all about Jamaal, of course, but more importantly, because he would say that, about the festival. So thank you so much for spending time with us. We have more guests for you on Daytime. Come back, everyone.